there's a lot of stories of like, musicians who are complete bums who end up with like, a bunch of groupies and stuff. And yeah, you could say it's because they got the notoriety with like being a musician or whatever. You look at, there's always a guy in college who has a roster, of women who he can keep around, but he's objectively a bum. I see guys that are making cope online with a statement like that. I'm not saying you're coping, but I'm just saying the statement of like, oh, you need to be, 6 foot, over 6 figures, jacked, tall, like ripped, handsome, all this stuff. You need to have basically a minor celebrity to attract a woman nowadays. And that's just objectively not the case. And I think, if anything, the bedroom is like the domain where the average guy can easily compete against a dude like that. Because it's like the problem comes when like later on in a relationship when a woman starts to like take on this attitude of the grass is always can be green on the other side. Like the woman starts through social media primarily, they start to see a lifestyle of what they think they are owed, what they believe that they can expect from any man. It's like in Dubai, on a yacht, driving a fast car, doing all this ridiculous shit, right? Which is not the case for like 99% of people. That's not the life that they live. And even the guys like me who've dabbled in that, like it's not my everyday life, for goodness sake. Like it's just it's the highlight reel, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's Instagram. It's very much an Instagram life is a doctored highlight reel.
No, certainly. From most women that I've talked to about this subject, they will tell me very few guys are actually able to satisfy them.
Right.
So
right.
What you're saying makes perfect sense. Like you need to be able to dominate the bedroom. You got to be able to show these women, like tickling their mind in the bedroom. I always say 50% of a woman's orgasm is going to be stimulated mentally.
Completely.
Not just physically.
Completely, yes. With this kind of woke liberal culture that we have perpetuating through the Western world, it tries to create this illusion around women being like sugar and spice and all things nice, and they're these delicate, fragile little creatures who have no, like, let's say, dark, perverted side to them, which is just not the case. If you look at the kinds of fantasy novels and romance novels that sell really well, what are they? They're things where, the cliche is like 50 Shades of Grey, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the guy's a billionaire, but he's also like locking her up at a dungeon. It's some pretty extreme stuff, right? We've got some of the most reported like fantasies and fantasy novel characters are like things like werewolves, vampires, pirates.
Interesting.
It's really interesting stuff. But what does that tell you? It tells you that women are craving this very dangerous archetype. And another interesting segue to that is the phenomenon of hybristophilia. Hybristophilia is basically when someone is attracted to a killer. This is actually a phenomenon that you only see in women. You don't see men with hybristophilia. An example is like you look at that guy who Luigi who got the CEO or whatever. You see the video from the courtroom and it's just throngs of women with signs like lining up to be a groupie basically. You look at every other serial killer, they all receive fan mail and love letters, endless amounts of love letters. It's a bit of an interesting red flag you can look for, I guess, if your woman is heavily into like watching serial killer documentaries. This is
a lot of women are into that.
Well, that's what I'm talking. This is hybristophilia. It doesn't mean you should go out and be a serial killer. It doesn't mean you should go out and be like And okay, sure, not every woman is a hybristophilia. Not every woman is like that, but they've all got something in them that is an element of that, and that is an attraction for a man who is capable, emphasis on the word capable, of violence. Mm-hmm. Because what does that mean? If he's capable of violence, he can protect her. He can defend her. Dude comes along, try and take her unwillingly, but he can sort it out. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. Like a lot of things in life ultimately come down to violence. Look at law. You look at the law. Every law is backed up by a gun.
Exactly.
And ostensibly, if you don't obey the law, there's going to be a gun involved at some point. There's going to be at the end of this chain of events, there's going to be violence somewhere, right? And so, and sex is no different. Like you can look at the act of sex as a violent act. You literally have a spear
to your body, a good way to put it,
which you're penetrating her body with, right? So in a kind of metaphysical sense, it is violence, right? But it's obviously consensual. It's obviously an act that both the man and the woman enjoy, right? But there's that element of danger that is very, very attractive to women, and this is also another bit of a segue. But this is also why certain archetypes and stereotypes have always been highly arousing and attractive to women.
Right.
The bad boy archetype, the bad boy stereotype, right? It's because there's an element of danger and an element of mystery and an element of uncertainty attached to his persona that women just electrifies them.
See, all the women that I've dated, a lot of them have given me that compliment. I like hanging out with you because I don't need to think. So I'm just taking care of everything. Like, all right, hey, we're going to this place. You're going to need to wear this outfit.
Yeah.
Add a touch of red to it. And those little micro details, they really like.
Yep.
And same thing, like going to New York. Have you ever been? Super crazy place, like navigating the subways and stuff like that. Every time I've taken a girl to New York, they're just like, da, 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 da. Like I'm calculating like the subway routes and everything.
This is where we go.
They have such a great time because no burden of stress on them whatsoever.
That's a perfect example of it. It's like you take care of the navigating, you take care of the getting us there. I'll go as far as like ordering her food for her.
Yeah, that's actually a big one too.
Half the time, if it's a restaurant that I know and I'm familiar with the menu, like I know this and this thing are really good. Like I'll order too much food, you know, but it's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We can try a little bit of each, and there's a little bit of waste. What you do? She gets to like sit back, relax, not think, not worry about does he want me to eat a salad, you know, to like try and look, you know, feminine or whatever, or do I have to watch my calories? Do I have to do this or whatever? You just like relax, I'll order, let's go. It's not hard, and it's just little things like that. Once you start, these are good sort of starting points for a guy who's not used to doing this. Once you start incorporating these little things, you'll start to find other ways to lead, right? Because men have been taught, like, you know, not to, ostensibly they've been taught not to lead women in that relation. They've been taught to, like, you know, ask her opinion, get it's a relationship, it's 50-50.
It's always like, either very feminine men giving that advice or women themselves.
Yeah. So
I always say women don't actually know what they want.
Of course
they say one thing out loud, but then their actions reflect the opposite usually.
Well, they can't even pick a dinner to go to, a restaurant to go to. So it's like, obviously they don't really enjoy it. They don't enjoy the burden of decision making. They don't enjoy, and even more, they don't enjoy the burden of being responsible for making a bad decision. It's not that she doesn't know which restaurants she likes. It's more than that, is that she's worried that if she picks the wrong one, you're going to hold her accountable for making a bad decision. Which is interesting psychology, but it's like, if you just don't care as a guy, like I don't care if she doesn't like, if it's not a 10 out of 10 for her or me. But this is why I usually always go to restaurants I already know are good anyway. But that burden of being held responsible for making a bad choice, that is the ultimate fear that they have. And so if we can find ways to take that fear away from our woman by making the choices, and look, if it's a bad choice, cool, whatever.
Like if a man's in a position where he doesn't have that authority, that responsibility over his woman, you're teaching it, and you're starting it with in the bedroom. So dominating sexually, but then how does that turn around where you're able to teach them how to dominate in other aspects?
Well, I think once you learn to assert yourself and have that authority in the bedroom, cool. It's no longer a weird leap for you to start not demanding, but start directing, to start instructing your woman again outside the bedroom, you know? And again, she's gonna by default look up to you a bit more, respect you a little bit more. And it's just, you know, it's inches and inches and inches, a little bit. This is not going to immediately fix itself overnight, like with one bout of lovemaking, right? Right. But over time, these things are going to start to compound.